Hey, my name is Farah Firdaus. Today is Friday, December 31, 2021 at 4:23 p.m. Today I'll share with you a few essays that I wrote, one poem by me, and a few ideas I came up with. I hope you enjoy my video. Here's the first essay that I wrote. Social Rules Are Nonsense by Farah Firdaus. Friday, November 19, 2021. Social rules are nonsense. They are created by people. They are not facts. One must not follow social rules. One must analyze every social rule he/she encounters and then make a judgment whether a social rule is correct to follow. One example of the fact that social rules are not always correct is fashion trend. Fashion trends. It is 2021 right now. The fashion trend for people when it comes to wearing jeans pants is to wear pants that are tight all the way through from the waist to the ankle. However, around the year 2000, over 20 years ago, the fashion trend for people when it came to wearing jeans pants was to wear a different style. For men, it was to wear baggy jeans from the waist to the ankle. And for women, it was to wear flare pants, in which the jeans pant was tight from the waist to the knee and then flare from the knee to the ankle. Anyone who wore jeans pant that was tight all the way through from the waist to the ankle were called nerds or geeks. It was not the fashion trend. So, why are some jeans pants that were geeky to wear during the year 2000 are the fashion trend in 2021? Social rules change over time. What is the rule today? It could be possible, will no longer be the rule in 20 years. So, why should you follow them and make a fool out of yourself? Yet another example of how social rules are nonsense is regarding black people. Long time ago in America, whites used to treat blacks as inferior to whites. Blacks were not allowed to sit on the bus if whites were on the bus and needed a seat. Blacks had to give up their seat to the whites, and blacks could not drink from the same water fountain as whites. Currently, blacks have a lot of rights in America. They are able to attend the same school as whites and drink from the same water fountain as whites. Recently, America even had a black president who was Barack Obama. So what happened to blacks being inferior to whites long time ago? This is why social rules are not always correct to follow. Social rules are nonsense. One must carefully analyze and make a judgment whether he/she should follow a social rule or not. That way, you don't become nonsense just like social rules. So that was the first essay, Social Rules Are Nonsense. Here's the second essay. It's Just a Trick on the Head by Farah Firdaus. Friday, November 19, 2021. It's just a trick on the head. None of it is real. What is being presented to you is fake. What am I talking about? Things you encounter throughout your day that eventually make up your life. One thing you encounter throughout your day is movements. But you actually don't. Movements come and go. Even if they're in your visual field, they have no meaning. Besides, you're not the only person who sees these movements. Everyone else around you sees them too. When you see movements and they make you anxious, it's just a trick on the head in which the movements you see are tricking your head to feel anxious. The anxiety you feel is not real. The anxiety is not there. In reality, you are not anxious. You are just being tricked. Throughout your day and your life, you will encounter billion plus things. And each time you will feel things about them, each one, and none of them are real. It's all hypnotism, a trick on your head. Think about it. When you see a beautiful girl passing by and you feel sexually attracted to her as a guy that you are, on what basis are you feeling the sexual pleasure? For she is a total stranger you don't even know. So where is this sexual pleasure coming from? A trick on your head. The beautiful girl is the trick who is tricking your head, in which the sexual pleasure is the hypnotic state, the hypnotism, the mental state of your head at that moment. The beautiful girl is tricking your head to feel sexual attraction. You see, humans are filthy and sneaky creatures. They are a mixture of good and bad. They'll love you and hurt you too, naturally. That's a fact. So one way that humans will love you is by taking care of you when you are ill. At the same time, one way humans will hurt you is by trying to trick your head, trying to manipulate you, persuade you, convince you, hypnotize you, trick your head. Sometimes humans may make movements to get your attention. Sometimes humans may give you a gift to buy your friendship. Humans may also give you a compliment to make you like them and trust them. Again, these are all tricks on your head. Movements should not get your attention. Gifts have no connection to creating a friendship. A compliment does not equate to trust, etc. The examples are countless. There are countless examples of how humans trick your head. Don't fall for any tricks. Remember, it's just a trick on your head. So that was the second essay. It's just a trick on the head. Here is the third essay. What happens in a hypnotic state? By Farah Firdaus, Tuesday, August 10, 2021. There was a Bengali Muslim girl sitting in a bench in the park reading a book. When another black girl sat on the bench near her, she suddenly fell under this girl's hypnotism. She fell onto a hypnotic state. She stopped reading her book. She literally closed her book and put it down on her lap. What happened to this girl who was so deeply engrossed in this book? Could it be that the color of the girl's skin being black hypnotized her? Or was it that the Bengali Muslim girl felt intimidated? When a human is not under a hypnotic state, he is in reality. He is in control of his mind and behavior. However, it is possible for him to be in a hypnotic state. It is possible for a human to mentally sleep. It is possible for a human to lose control of himself, his mind and behavior. In a hypnotic state, you surrender to your hypnotist. Before you are in a hypnotic state, you are in control of yourself. However, once you are in a hypnotic state, it is as if saying to your hypnotist, I surrender to you, take over me. You are now in control of my mind and behavior instead of me. When you are in hypnotism, you pretty much lose control of yourself. You are now under the control of your hypnotist. It is like having a battle. Two countries are fighting each other, then one country says, okay, we give up, we surrender, you win. You are now in control of our country, not us. Here you are the country that lost the battle, and your hypnotist is the country that won the battle. Here, the moment you lose the battle is equal to the moment you just got hypnotized. When the country says, you win, I surrender, that means you are saying to your hypnotist, you are now in control of me, I surrender to you. In a hypnotic state, you produce the actions that you think the hypnotist wants you to produce. Once hypnotized, all the following actions of the human under hypnotism are usually not rational and logical. This is because the hypnotized human is not thinking for himself and acting for himself, but producing actions he thinks the hypnotist wants him to produce. It is always best to reject being in hypnotism. Whenever you feel you're about to be hypnotized, you must disengage. You must fight back your hypnotist consciously. For example, if a human pairs up her movement with your blink of eye, you must not go under her hypnotism. You must reject this human. You must disengage. One way to disengage and reject is to pair up your blink of eye with the word no. Every time you blink, okay, so every time your blink of eye is paired up with the movement, think of the word no. That way, you will stay in reality, which means you did not fall in a hypnotic state, which then means you rejected your hypnotist successfully. Unfortunately, sometimes if you don't accept your hypnotist and fall under her hypnotism, then she may get angry. She may show lots of anger. Because you are rejecting her and disengaging with her. For rejecting and disengaging, fear may be used by the hypnotist to force you to accept her out of fear. Yet, it is best to reject your hypnotist at all times. Fear has no meaning here. You should still disengage. When you are hypnotized, what you feel is not usually real. It is usually all fake. It does not exist what your head feels or thinks. This is one reason why it is wrong and very bad to be under hypnotism. When you see a black girl, let's say, she may be a good person or bad. You don't know, it's the reality. Once you get to know her, then you will know if she is good or bad. Just by seeing her, you don't know. Lack of information is why. Alright? So that was the third essay, what happens in a hypnotic state. Before moving on to the fourth essay, I want to share with you a poem by me. It's called Just Because. Just Because by Farah Firdos. Just because I'm looking young like a teenager, I'm not a teenager. I'm not foolish. I'm not innocent and gullible. I'm a wise and experienced 34-year-old woman. Just because I am unemployed, I am not a troublemaker. I am not irresponsible. I am not worthless. I'm still human with needs and feelings. Just because I'm short, I'm not a joke to be laughed at. I'm not a person to be judged by her appearance. I'm the Farah I've always been. So that was the poem Just Because. And I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Continuing on with the essays that I wrote. The fourth essay is called As Long as You're Alive and Not Dead, and as long as you're awake and not sleeping, you will experience things. As long as you're alive and not dead, and as long as you're awake and not sleeping, you will experience things. By Farah Firdaus, Friday, January 29, 2021. As long as you're alive and not dead, and as long as you're awake and not sleeping, you will experience things in life. You'll see movements, you'll see colorful things, you'll do laundry, you'll talk with humans, you'll eat food, etc. Experiencing these things is just life happening around you. Each experience is a part of life, and all these kinds of experiences make up the whole life. If you are dead, then you no longer will experience life. You will not experience anything anymore at all. Whether it is seeing colors or talking with humans. If you are sleeping, then you will not experience things either, such as seeing movements. However, when you are alive and awake, you will experience life by experiencing things such as seeing movements, seeing colors, and talking with humans. Movements, for example, are a part of life. You will see movements no matter what. You cannot escape it. It is a part of life whether you like it or not. When you see movements, it is just life happening around you. Life taking place. That's all. No one is making movements at you intentionally. You are just seeing movements because movements make up a part of this world. Just like the sun goes down every day naturally, you see movements because they're a part of this world naturally. So, don't feel anxious or angry if you see movements, colors, if you talk with people, etc. This is just your life going on. This is just you experiencing life. Seeing movements are part of life, just like eating food. Do you feel anxious or angry when you eat food? No. So why would you feel anxious or angry when you see movements? Movements and eating food are the same in that they are both just an experience of life and a part of life. Similarly, breathing is a part of life. Inhaling and exhaling is a part of life. Just like that, seeing movements are a part of life. No need to feel overwhelmed or angry about seeing movements. Just like there is no need to feel overwhelmed or angry about inhaling and exhaling. Breathing and seeing movements are both just a part of your whole life. It's just life, that's all. There is nothing there to feel such as anger or hate. Let things come and go, come and go. They have no meaning. Live your life. Take care of yourself. Fulfill your responsibilities and do what you need to do. Everything happening around you is just life taking place. But it should not interfere with your life, your activities you are doing, and the tasks you are completing. Some people sometimes do not know how to experience life. They do not understand that everything happening around them is just life taking place. Some people sometimes say, "Leave me alone." There is no such thing as being left alone. That is not possible. You cannot be left alone. Why? Because there are things happening around you at all times. Things happening around you at all times is your life. That is how you will be left. you need to understand that there are a billion plus things in this world, and you will experience some of them throughout your entire life. Not all. And you need to accept what you experience, understanding that these experiences are part of your life. You must not try to reject the things you experience in life. You must accept the things you experience in life. Acceptance of the things you experience in life is important in order to stay mentally stable. And if the experiences are bad, do not try to avoid them because they're a natural part of life. But do handle the bad and deal with it. So, as long as you're alive and awake, you will not have nothing happening. Reality is that you will have a lot of things happening. Don't be scared to experience life. So that was the fourth essay. As long as you're alive and not dead, and as long as you're awake and not sleeping, you will experience life. And here is the fifth essay. Humans learn from their environment. Humans are not born knowing things, by Farah Firdos. Wednesday, December 9, 2020. Once upon a time, there was a girl. She was 16 years old. She was sitting down on the red carpet of a room. She was not doing anything. She was not very smart either. She did not know much about life. Suddenly, she could hear someone cooking in the kitchen. She could hear pots and pans banging. She could hear dishes being washed in the sink, and so on. Then she learned that humans make sounds with pots, pans, etc. Why did she learn that? Because that is what was happening in her surrounding, in her environment. And humans learn from their environment. Because of the fact that in her environment, there were pots and pans banging, she could hear them. So she learned that pots and pans make sounds. So this girl had a steel bowl and a steel plate next to her. She took the steel plate next to her and started to bang the steel plate on the steel bowl over and over. Why do you think this happened? I will tell you why. Humans learn from their environment. Humans are not born knowing things. So if you teach a human to bark and talk, if you teach a human to bark and not talk, then that is all the human will learn to do, bark. If you wear a dress, then that is all the human will learn to do, wear a dress. Now, if you keep making sounds around a human, then that is the only thing the human will learn to do, which is make sounds. All right? So that was the fifth essay. Humans learn from their environment. Humans are not born knowing things. And here's the sixth and last essay. Being Alone in a Room and Sounds by Farah Firdos. Wednesday, December 9, 2020. If you are alone in a room with the door closed and there's no one else there, you will hear sounds from outside. If your head processes these sounds as the only thing you have, then after some time you will have the urge to make sounds yourself. Because making sounds is all you will learn from your environment. However, processing sounds in your head is this way, which is that when you are alone in a room with the door closed and there is no one else there, the only thing you have are sounds, is wrong. It is just that in your head it feels like the only thing that there are sounds, but that is not the reality. There are actually other things there too, such as food, water, sleep, and bathroom. There are actually billion plus things in this world, and that is the reality, whether you are alone in a room or outside in the streets. So it doesn't matter if you're alone in a room, it doesn't matter if you're outside in the streets. You have to be conscious in your head at all times of the fact that there are billion plus things in the world. You have billion plus things. You don't only have sounds when you're alone in a room. So if you're alone in a room with the door closed and there's no one else there, why does it feel like the only thing you have are sounds in your head? That is because your head is not conscious of the fact that there are billion plus things in the world, which is the reality. Sounds are produced, which makes you aware of them, conscious of them. So this consciousness and awareness is what makes you feel as if sounds are the only thing you have when you are alone in a room with the door closed and there's no one else there. The problem is that if you're alone in a room with the door closed and there's no one else there, your head feels that sounds are all you have. The solution to this problem is to first make yourself aware of the fact that there are billion plus things in this world. The second thing you have to do is name a few of them so that you become conscious of some of them. So you have to say there is music, movies, trees, cars, buses, clothes, children. You have to name some of them. Some of what? Some of the billion plus things in this world. That will make you conscious, aware, and will make you realize that there are billion plus things in this world. That will bring you out of the incorrect mental state and into reality. All right. So I just shared with you essays and one poem that I wrote. Here and lastly, here are some ideas that I came up with that I want to share with you. I hope you will apply these ideas expressed in statements in your real life situations. And I hope that it will be as helpful to you as it is for me. So, here are 4 ideas out of many that I came up with. I want to share with you, each put in statements. The first out of the 4 ideas is be mentally stable every second passing by. This means you should be aware of your actions at all times. And you should be mentally healthy at all times. This idea is saying you should monitor your mental health at all times. The second idea put in a statement is this. The human race is not the only thing that make up the world. There are billion plus other things too that make up the world. This means the human race is one part of the whole world, only one part. Then there are infinite other things in the world too. This statement, this idea, it will help you stay in reality. The third idea put in a statement out of 4 of them that I want to share with you is, what a wonderful experience to be around humans, for it is human contact The third statement that I want to share with you, which is a very interesting idea that is very helpful if you apply in real life, is what a wonderful experience to be around humans, for it is human contact which is good for me and my mental health, unlike being alone and isolated from humans. This means that being around people is good for you. This will help you in managing people when you apply this idea in real life. And the last one, the fourth idea, put in a statement, the last one is, one must creatively and intelligently manage life. This means that you need to think about how to handle situations that come up in your life instead of just automatically responding. Be creative and intelligent. Lastly, I want to say it is a good idea to drill these ideas, putting statements in your head. That way, you will program your head to use these ideas. The way to drill it in your head is to memorize them. To memorize them, you have to write them over and over, say them out loud over and over, or listen to them being said out loud over and over. All right? So, thank you for listening to my essays, my poem, and my ideas. I hope you enjoyed my video. All right?